Alright, so basically, this video is just me talking about what they say versus what they mean. And what I mean by this is the whole live services thing. So I'm going to basically talk about the three different people who have a dog in the fight, and what they say versus what they mean. All right. So without much ado, let's get into it after the cut. When consumers say they want games as a service, they want, in their head, they're thinking something like Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu or some shit like that, where basically you pay a set fee and you have access to a decent library of games that you can download and play and all that fun shit. Pretty simple. And what they say is exactly what they mean for most consumers. That's what they want. Now, it's going to get tricky when we get to our next group, the publishers and then the platform holders. So let's get to it after the cut. So here's where things get sticky, because basically when you have publishers like EA and Activision and Ubisoft, when they say games as a service, here's what they really mean, okay? Games as a service means that they can release a game and, like back in the day, you'd release a game and if it sold well, you'd do an expansion or something, or do a sequel with the same engine, and things were good. Games as a service is basically where they essentially release a game in an unfinished state, and then over time, after getting your money, normally giving you a subscription fee like an MMO, they continue to monetize it years after the normal shelf life of that game would have been over, and that's what they want. Now, within and of itself, games as a service works for some types of games, like an MMO or a strategy game that's constantly getting new content. It would make sense for that game to be almost like a service. But for traditional $60 AAA experiences or AA or even single A experiences, it's not really good. It's not really good for games to be like that. And I know some people are going to be like, but some lazy ass excuse, but it's not good. All right, it is not good for games to be as a service, especially game models that don't really lend themselves well. Like if you're doing an MMO, it kind of makes sense because here's the thing: most MMOs are massive, and you're not going to have new content in an MMO within the first week or so. The first month. It makes sense for there to be months between new content. But if you're talking about a single A game, it doesn't make sense for a AAA game that supposedly had a 3, 4, 5 year development cycle to not have enough content at launch, unless the development cycle was hell or the game was released unfinished, which is what we're getting now. You look at Fallout 76, you look at Anthem. I mean, you're getting lots of games being released now that are fundamentally unfinished at launch, and then after the fact, they're like, well, we'll add extra content as time goes by, and it should be very worrisome. But that's what publishers want. They want to release games that are unfinished that they can monetize, and get paid. All right. And they want you to just deal with it, That's what they want. Now, how much do we let these people get away with this shit? I don't know, but that's what they want. That being said, there's other things going on here as well. for the publishers, for the big publishers that have to answer to shareholders, it looks really good to shareholders that they have a game that has, 6 to 10 million subscribers that pay $10, $14 a month to play the game, for years and years and years. That's a steady revenue generation model. And it's less of fucking people over than microtransactions and loot boxes. So publishers are looking at it like that. Now the platform holders are next. Your Microsofts, your Googles, your Sonys, and we'll get to them after the cut. So platform holders are the ones that we kind of have to be like, okay, is this worth it? Now, what do I mean by why we have to look at them and say, is this worth it? Because platform holders are the ones who can essentially provide the closest to what that Netflix or Amazon, that subscription service of where you have a huge library of games for a flat fee. Microsoft, with their Xbox Game Pass is closest. I guess Nintendo has the right idea, but the Nintendo online service sucks. So, the games available is kind of meh. Hopefully it'll get better. I don't know. Sony's, a lot of Sony's games are trash on that service. Either that, or it suffers from the Xbox Games for Gold problem, which the people who really wanted those games already have them, and so you're just giving people rosters of shit that they already have. Basically, the big thing about the platform holders is that they, once again, it goes into that recurring subscription fee, monthly fee model that they're going to make their money off of. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is like $15. Now for PC, which is what I have, it's like $5, and I'm perfectly fine giving them $5, but I'm not giving them $15, especially when I don't own an Xbox. So it's one of those things. But yeah, games as a service can work, but it has to be handled very carefully. And, frankly speaking, we know these people aren't going to handle it carefully because they never handle anything carefully. They're assholes. So with that being said, tell me your thoughts. You can reach me at Matthew Wesley at mrredfoxbsbuster on Twitter. You can reach me at mrredfoxbsbuster at gmail.com. So, yeah. And that's how you can reach me. So, with that being said, remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe, and tell me your thoughts on games as a service. Do you think it could work? Do you think it can't work? Do you even care? And with that being said, peace!